Welcome everyone. My name is Manish Shah and I'm the Midwest Chapter Lead for Holistic Science Charitable Research Foundation. In my day job, I'm the Senior Director of R&D and Innovation at Lake Forest Graduate School of Management. Today's topic is Dietary Principles from Holistic Science. The talk will be conducted in a question and answer format. Let me introduce today's holistic science expert, Dr. Sailesh Anandji. Dr. Sailesh Mehta, or we call him Dr. Sailesh Anandji, is a practicing ophthalmologist who runs a hospital in Vadodara, India. From his childhood, he was curious about the deeper truth of life. He came in touch with self-realized holistic scientist Shyam Patel, and through his grace, Dr. Mehta attained self-realization. Dr. Mehta is a celebrity and is deeply experienced in the field of holistic inner science. He devotes his time to studying, researching, and spreading the message of holistic inner science. In his quest to spread the message of holistic science, he has traveled to countries such as USA, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. His speeches on holistic science have been well received at national and international conferences. He is the author of several books which include Introduction to Holistic Science and Integral Living and Science of Liberation. Last month we talked about mind and its mysteries. Today's topic is Dietary Principles from Holistic Science. Welcome, Sailesh Anandji.
So greetings to all the listeners and all the interested people into the holistic inner science.
So Sailesh Anandji, let me ask you a general question. What are the key holistic science principles around food and nutrition?
Okay, so this is a very broad and vital topic. So what I feel appropriate is let's discuss food or dietary principles or the things from both the perspectives, modern science perspective as well as the holistic inner science perspective. And if you allow me at the outset, I'd like to give broad guidelines of what the modern science perspective has come out in recent times about the food and diet. Would that be good?
Absolutely.
Okay. So here I'm not going to touch the very traditionally known things like carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. Everybody knows how much calories are required and what is not. But what I would like to do is the things which one need to know or which may not be very known, I'll touch upon those aspects. So diet or food is the intake which we take. Usually we understand that it is what we eat and what we drink or the air we breathe. But if I extend it a little more, all the inputs, so I humorously say food for body, food for mind, and food for soul. So what is this food for mind is our intakes through five senses, what we see, what we hear, what we think. So we'll take all the three aspects one by one. Giving little insights about the food part, whether we live to eat or whether we eat to live is the question we should ask ourselves, whether we really live to eat or we should eat to live. Having said that, what's our purpose of life? A little, if we ponder why I'm living, then if the answer is a holistic living or a balanced living wherein I also want my inner evolution or inner awareness, then I would put the diet in the perspective that it has the effect on body, effect on my inner psyche or mind, and effect on speech. With this background, let's go to what the modern science has found in recent days. Many researches are showing that especially in USA, the obesity and the diseases related to obesity are at very high level. Even the children are overweight or obese. And when we say obese, it is body mass index, and if it is more than 23 or 25, you are overweight, and if it is more than 30, you are at a high risk of many diseases, including hypertension, diabetes, heart attacks, and even so to say cancers. So what should we know? So here, what are the foods which are good for us and what are the food which are not good for us? Let's focus on to that part. So one few interesting findings is one should avoid the processed foods and refined carbohydrates because the processed foods and refined carbohydrates like white bread, white rice, pastas from refined grains or pizzas, potato fries, all these things they provide very high amount of calories and fats leading us to obesity. The another interesting concept has been worked out by Dr. Furman and his colleagues that while deciding the type of diet, we should try to know what are the amounts of nutrients it provides per calorie intake. And if we see this, then all these foods they provide less nutrients but very high amount of calories. So many researches have come forward, and one I have touched is processed foods and refined carbohydrates. Then the fried foods and oils. They are also leading in our diet a lot of fat and obesity, including the olive oil. Olive oil may be good in other aspects, but it is oil, so it has very high amount. Then the cheese, the use of cheese is very high as I understand in your life, but cheese is also totally fat. Then comes the soft or cold drinks because of the preservatives, chemicals, and its coldness. And the interesting research about the animal proteins and the plant proteins. Some few years back, the scientists were trying to tell us that the animal proteins are good for body, but now there are many researches. One is the China Cornell Oxford study, those who are interested into the reference, and another is the William Casely who studied at the Massachusetts University. All these researches are now making it clear that the animal proteins lead to high cholesterol, it leads to high amount of obesity, and there is a direct relation between heart diseases and cancers in the people who are taking more of animal-based foods or animal proteins. As against that, the plant-based foods are supposed to be or found to be more protective for three reasons. One, they provide more nutrients per calorie basis. They have the protective phytonutrients and fibers which are said to be protective for our body. So if we simply say what which foods should we avoid and which foods are good to have. So here they are now suggesting that avoid animal foods, chicken, meat, processed and preserved foods, cheese, oils, pizzas, soft drinks, potato chips or fries, and if animal products can not be totally avoided, keep it below 12 ounces per week. And which are the foods good to have? A large bowl of green salads, large serving of steamed greens, cup of beans, unsalted seeds and nuts, fresh fruits, something. So overall, now they say that 60% of calories, almost 50 to 60% of the calories should come from the greens and beans. That means green vegetables, fruits and beans. 30% of 20 to 30% of the calorie may come from cereals and very less from the oils and fats. So this is the recent modern science perspective about the type of food and the amount of food or calories which you should have. Now, if I join this with the holistic inner science perspective, then we will have what type of food, amount of food, how to eat, timings of food, and other associated aspects. So let's go one by one. As we say, type of food, we already have touched from the modern science perspective that what is good for us to have and what should be avoided if possible. Now, if I touch it upon from the holistic inner science perspective, which takes into consideration the effect of on my inner psyche, and if I want my inner awareness and my inner upliftment, then what should I take and what is good for me and what's not good for me. So here in this step ladder pattern, first it is better if I can avoid the animal based products, that is to say non-veg, because it puts the covering layers on my inner knowing and pure knowing and seeing power. Second, if it is possible, it's better if I can drop down the eggs, and if I go higher up in the ladder, it is better if I can drop down the underground foods. Now the another aspect about the type of food, the freshly prepared homemade food is good to have. Why freshly prepared? Because it's said that they are easily digestible and your body can easily handle them. If it is frozen foods and lying there for days together and you microwave it and take it, probably it is difficult for the body to handle it or digest it. So freshly prepared, easily digestible homemade food is suggested. What about the restaurant foods? Because we are all in fast-paced life, and where is the time to cook? It's better to pack and have it. So there are two aspects in the restaurant foods. One is the preservatives and processed foods, frozen foods, chemicals, preservatives, and on top of that, the effect of atoms and molecules of where it is being cooked and who is cooking it and what with what intention one is cooking it. So holistic inner science says that in the environment and one who is cooking, there is direct effect on my mind. So if you observe closely when you have enjoyed the outside foods, at least for some time, your mind and reflective consciousness will have the shadow of it. And if you are wanting to progress in your inner journey, it's better to know that the outside foods are better not to be enjoyed but to be kept as only when necessary. We don't say that you totally can abstain it, but the understanding will help us. Second is the amount of food and the timing of food. It's said that if we consider four parts of our stomach, two parts should be filled with solid food, one part with the liquid, and one part should be kept empty so that the body has a good space and can easily digest it. Sometimes what happens with us, because we live to it, if my mind is enjoying some food and Manish Bhai is offering me that, I don't ask my stomach, but feed and overfeed. And of course, I know that it does lead to problem. So the best way suggested is you eat enough or adequate such that at the end of your meal you feel that you are still little hungry. So eat little less than what your hunger is telling you to eat. And that will have good effect on body or health also, and good effect for inner awareness also. Once in a while, if you feel your body is heavy and your mind is also getting dull, then once in a while, maybe 8 days or 15 days or whatever your pattern is, you may skip one time meal so that the body has a chance to cleanse up all the debris and toxins which has been collected over there. And not only the body becomes lighter, but the mind also becomes cleaner, and the reflective consciousness also becomes more cleaner. So that is why our ancient wise people have suggested us to fast occasionally or to drop down occasionally one time meal. Timing of the food in our eastern part of the world where sunset and sunrise are more regular, we prefer, and the suggested is in the morning you take your breakfast or meals after sunrise, after some time, and evening it is preferable if you can take it before or around sunset. The reason being the digestive system works best uh, in connection with the sunlight or sun presence of sun. I know that in your part of the world, the sunset and sunrises are very variable, but at least what I can think and suggest is, okay, your evening meals, which I think are your principal meals, they should be better placed at least a couple of hours before you go to bed. Don't have heavy meal and directly go to bed. It will have a bad effect on the health system, as well as you will not be able to rise up next day morning early enough, because the food which has been taken late at night is yet being processed, and it's not allowing you to get up early. So these are the few things which not only the modern science is also suggesting now, but the holistic inner science is also connecting to it about the type of food, amount of food, timing of food, and what should we have. Having said that, let me touch upon briefly about food for mind, which probably we have never thought, and no textbooks or though people really are advising on what is the food for mind. But whatever is going through our five senses, whatever we see, there are n number of things on the internet or YouTube or whatever. So we keep on seeing the things, we keep on hearing the things. Everything has impact on our mind and our reflective consciousness also. And so if you want to progress upwards in your inner journey perspective, please be selective in food for mind, and keep away from the adulterated audio visual inputs, but rather have positive, serene, inspirational, uplifting reading or seeing whenever one gets time. So food for mind is, I would say, equally, or I would even say more important in this present time. When I say food for mind, a question comes. Most of the people are giving more weightage to the body strength. Yes, I am normal weight, I'm gym and my muscles are strong. Yes, that's good, I would say. But what about your strength of mind and strength of speech? And if you see the people who have influenced the world at a large for years together, thousands and thousands of years, maybe Gandhiji or maybe Rajchandra or maybe Dada Bhagwan, they were not very strong as far as the body power was concerned, but they were very strong as far as the mind and speech and soul power was concerned. So this is my another just indication or insight, that keep your eye on your power as far as your mind power is concerned, as far as your speech power is concerned, as far as your inner strength is concerned. Because we don't just want to lead a life like a beast or any average human being. We want to have a meaningful living for ourselves as well as those around us. So if I know this, I'll select my food for body and food for mind accordingly. And what about food for soul? So where you get the understanding about the relative self and real self, about what is your true identity, your true self, and other such stuffs, please keep an eye and keep a time so that you can also have food for soul. I think as an introduction, I have tried to give whatever is necessary from the modern science perspective, what is good to have, what is bad to have, as far as our body and diseases are concerned. And I have tried to join it with a holistic inner science perspective about the amount of food, type of food, timing of food, and other aspects. Now, I'm open to your questions.
Yeah, so I have a follow-up question, Shailesh Anandji. So the Western world is obsessed with diets. We have literally tens or if not hundreds of diets and books on diets. But what we have found over the years is none of these diets are sustainable. They can't become a part of your lifestyle. So what happens is you go on diet, you lose weight, then you come back to your regular lifestyle, you gain everything back and probably some more. And so you are yo-yoing between, having less than ideal weight and more than ideal weight, but you're never at your ideal weight. So what is your perspective uh, on diet that keeps you at an ideal weight rather than following the latest fad that comes out in a book or in the newspaper or on the news?
Sure, I'll try to discuss that as much as I understand and can convey. But before that, let me share one more point which I missed, that how to eat. And unfortunately, I have been seeing around the world that so-called lack of time, and people just jump into the car with their sandwich or with their coffee, and they are driving and eating, or they are on the dining table eating and either working on their laptop or iPad or seeing the TV. And this is a strong suggestion from the holistic inner science that never eat in absence of your reflective consciousness. Whenever you are taking your meal, smaller or bigger, principal or subsidiary, please keep your reflective consciousness there and then only. If you eat in absence of your reflective consciousness, that means you are not eating mindfully, and you are inviting stress and heart attacks and heart diseases. And also you are not getting the enough taste or nutrients from the food. So eat in presence of reflective consciousness, chew it well, so that if you chew it well and take in presence of reflective consciousness with a small amount of food, you will be satisfied, your hunger will be satisfied, and also you will get adequate amount of nutrients and other benefits. So having said that, what I feel is, as I said, you can have whatever amount of vegetables, fruits, and beans you want to take. So in our regular food, have more of greens and meat, salads and with fruits and beans. Then select cereal items, whatever you want to prepare from wheat or rice or other grains. But there, it is better that if I use least possible amount of oil. I have to use oil, but keep it minimum or less, because especially we people who are relishing and who are fond of tasty things, we try to have more and more different varieties, but in so doing we use lots of oils and things. So I have to be vigilant that I can prepare all type of foods, but keeping in mind less of oils, especially minimum or no cheese. I'm afraid of saying no cheese, but minimum minimum possible amount of cheese, and if possible, avoid outside fried chips or cold drinks and soft drinks. So these are some few tips. These associated with if I keep amount of my food little less than my hunger, so that at the when I have taken my meal, I still feel that there is still some hunger or still some space left out if somebody offers me, and a little exercise, I think that should work very good. I don't say that take X food and avoid Y food, because you can't do that, but it's overall pattern. It's overall living pattern. And if I share a little more in-depth insight also, have you ever observed that whenever you are stressed and your mind is under botheration, you tend to eat more?
Yes.
So this is a research. So this takes me to another area, that with other holistic inner science reasons, if your inner self, relative inner self, mind and reflective consciousness, intellect and ego are more harmonious and more happy or stress-free, automatically your diet will also become normal. So when you have a normal and natural living, or you're going towards normal and natural living from within in other aspects, your diet also will start becoming normal and natural. It is the innaturality and imbalance within which is grabbing more and more food or different types of food. So of course this is a more subtler aspect.
Yep. So, Seshanji, we have our first question from the audience.
Sure.
Thank you for inviting me, Dr. Sailashananji. My name is Punita Desai. I'm a graphic designer from Tustin, California. And this topic is very timely because I just started a diet a few days ago. So everything you're saying is extremely insightful. So I'm enjoying all of it. So my question is, with the fast-paced life we live, I used to eat out quite often because I would come home late. With this new diet, I'm forced to take time out every day, at least an hour, to cook. But sometimes I don't have the time, so I try to prep something that I can eat the day after. So I guess my question is, what's the longevity of the foods? How long can you preserve it? Can you have something a day after? Sometimes I see people at work prepare a meal that they'll eat 7 days straight. I normally don't do that. Usually my rule is 24 hours, but maybe if you can shed some light on when things expire or how long you can actually preserve something that's cooked at home.
What I think is, I know that everything whatever I'm saying may not be exactly practical in your life and living, but first fundamental is we should understand. The understanding will give us the insight how best or how much we can put into our practice, or how gradually or immediately we can. Having said that, when we are to eat, the Teja Tattva, why we say freshly cooked or let's say hot food is good, because it has a Agni or Teja Tattva which helps the digestion part. So whenever I am to take my meals, I may have the raw things kept ready, but I'll try to cook and use within 6 hours, especially the rice and other things if possible. The people cook rotis and puris and keep them in the freeze and then microwave them. I would rather suggest that you can keep the raw material ready, but cook at the time when you are ready to eat. I don't think it will take more than 15-20 minutes when other things are ready for you. So if possible, it is better to cook and eat it within, let's say, 4 to 6 hours. Having said that, and of course you can keep the raw things ready for you, so that you don't end up spending time. Only you have to let's say cook it and eat it. I mean, just heat it and eat it, something like that. Having said that, I do not have exact research backed up data, but I would generally say that it's better to avoid frozen foods, as you say, more than a day old or much more older than that. And I have been seeing that many places in USA or even at other places, but I would not suggest that, if possible.
Sure.
Rather, the answer can be different. Rather than going for many varieties, cook 1 or 2 varieties. Our stomach doesn't ask for many varieties, our mind do ask for. So cook 1 or 2 varieties, maybe in a Gujarati terms khichdi or rice and means mung or some cereal, which may not take a lot of time, but still you can have the fresh food. So some vegetables, fruits, and simply readily cookable things would serve our purpose, I would say.
Okay, that's a great answer. Thank you. I have a second question for you, if you don't mind. Earlier you said we should have maybe 1/4 of liquids in our body while we're eating. I've heard otherwise, to lose weight, it's probably better to have water an hour prior to your meal and an hour after your meal, but not during your meal. So it's What do you
So
suggest?
what I'm saying liquid is, yes, I'm not saying that you drink water during the meals, but in our routine or traditional meals, if you see, we do have some part of liquid like dal or dal fry or something. So
Mhm.
they say that you can have two parts of solid food, one part of liquid, which is either in our cooked food or the fruits we are taking or some other way. Or sometimes you are taking some juice along with your meals or something. So even I myself do not drink water during my meals. I take it, let's say, 30 to 45 minutes after my meals. But some liquids, which is otherwise our part of meal, that you can have one part filled with liquid and one part kept empty for the movement of gases or air which gets generated in the process of digestion. Am I clear now?
No, very clear. Thank you. Both questions were answered perfectly. Thank you.
Okay, we have a second question for Sailesh Anand.
Yes, thank you for inviting me. My name is Sejal. I'm actually a practicing pharmacist in California, and I have a question for Dr. Salish Ananji regarding
Sure.
nutrition and diet. Um, I have it written. Let me get that for you.
Sure.
My question is, I know we spoke about steaming vegetables and not having oil, but what qualifies as easily digestible in terms of preparation and content? Like, for example, flours, is it baked, steamed, sautéed, or raw oil versus cooked oil? What do you qualify as easily digestible in terms of preparation and content?
Okay. Whatever I know is easily digestible. What I say is, see, we can have, vegetables and fruits are very simple. You can steam it or cook it. That's not an issue. The only thing is, don't overcook it so you lose the vitamins and minerals out of it. Then the easily digestible food is something prepared from our cereals, maybe roti or puri prepared from wheat or rice or whatever. But the not easily digestible food part is one where we have lots of fats and sweets and with high amount of fat and sugar into it, which is difficult to digest. But anything made of cereals and you can have small amount of sweets. It's not that you don't have totally, but just to know that these foods are easily digestible, whereas the food having lots of oils and fats, and especially avoid the trans fat parts which are there in some processed or ready foods or preserved foods, because trans fats are found to be very harmful. So likewise, I have to find out that what are easily digestible. So in Gujarati we say sado satvik ahar, something like that. Simple and easily digestible, freshly cooked food.
So Sailesh Anand, this question prompted a follow-up question. Is there an order of the type of food we eat that is easily digestible? For example, certain tastes are hard
Yes.
to digest, for example, sweet. So can you shed some light on that?
Yeah. First of all, yes, that is another insight of holistic inner science, that we may have the six tastes in our diet, and it is better if we can balance all the six tastes. So that is first aspect. And secondly, the people like me love sweet more. But the sweet is said to be more difficult to be digested, and it is said that the bitter is most easily digestible, which I really don't like, which my mind doesn't like. But the knowledge says that it is good to have bitter and have sweet, but don't have above normal or more than required. So the best is to have the balance of six tastes.
Great. We have one last question from the audience.
Yes. Hi, Dr. Sally Shanaji. Thanks for inviting me to this talk. It's a very important aspect and topic, I feel, for our generation. I had a follow-up question to your discussion about processed foods, specifically with regards to nutritional supplements and vitamins. Today, if we go to the gym and to work out or to do anything, there's a lot of talk about having protein bars, granola bars, they add protein into your smoothies, your fruit smoothies. They say it's more healthy and improves your digestion or helps you work out better, gives you more energy. So what's your thought on that? That they are processed foods, but they're supposed to be helpful, similar to vitamin supplements. So just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Well, again, I do not have the direct scientific research database, but let me first say one thing that even these so-called truths or whatever they are saying, more often they are marketing drives rather than the real truths. Because Manish Bhai is a marketing person, he knows well. And the second most important thing is, if you see over the years and even today, the nature has more than adequate things for us. So I strongly feel that whatever is natural and normal, these are the two very, very important words. So I feel that adequate amount of green leafy vegetables, fruits, and beans or nuts should provide us more than adequate amount of vitamins, minerals, or proteins required. If we look at other beings in the nature, does elephant take any prepared vitamins and foods? Does any other strong animal take such processed and prepared and so-called added things? Yet they are very, very strong and very, very good. So if we take some lesson from them, I would think that unless I am having the signs of deficiency of something, that oh, I'm deficient in vitamins or deficient in something, my first choice will be natural way of eating and living. Whatever is available as good fresh vegetables, fruits, seeds, nuts, and along with the freshly prepared food out of cereals and other things, I don't feel there is any reason why they should not provide me adequate amount of minerals and vitamins. In our part of the world, it's not that prevalent, and still I think we are all healthy. And in your part of the world, I think it is the marketing a lot, which is probably putting the things in a different perspective. So I would feel that unless you are found to have deficiency in something, don't get driven by all marketing gimmicks. Go by more natural, normally available things.
Okay, Sailesh, if you have any final, go ahead.
May I ask one quick question off of what Sailesh Shananji just mentioned?
Sure.
You mentioned freshly prepared and natural. Are baked goods, if you do it quickly, but are baked versus sautéed or steamed, is there a certain type of preparation that's fresh versus or natural versus unnatural if you're preparing it in your own home?
Sorry, I could not understand the question well.
For example, like frying foods is not as naturally or freshly prepared, but if you steam it, it is. So are there other methods that are still fresh and natural in ways that we can prepare at home, such as
No,
is baking okay?
no, that's okay. What I am trying to say by natural and fresh is you have got the vegetables which are natural, or vegetables, fruits, all these things are fresh and natural. So whatever way you want to cook it, steam it or boil it or cook it and use it. Similarly, you have the flour in your house of various cereals. That is okay. But when you want to eat it, out of those flours, you can prepare the food that is a freshly prepared food, I am trying to say. But once you have prepared and then you put it into your deep freezer, that as Punita said, keep on using for few days, that I would not say.
I
And the
see.
last humorous remark, once somebody was asked that please eat this food, otherwise it will be wasted, it will go in waste. So that gentleman humorously remarked, yes, if I don't eat, the food would be wasted. But if I eat, not only the food will be wasted, but my stomach and my health also would be spoiled. So, so don't do that. So the conclusion is, especially in this fast-paced modern world, with so much influences of folk living, I would say, as the other people are living and eating and moving, it has affected our psyche like anything. And knowingly or unknowingly, we are getting trapped into those vicious circles. So it's a time, I think, to take a pause and think what is good for us. And in that case, as I said, it is good to have the plant-based food with 30 to 60% of the calories coming from greens and beans, means vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds, and 20 to 30% from cereals, less of oils and fats. Certainly, if possible, avoiding the animal foods, processed foods, chemicals, preservatives, and even for that matter, minimum of soft drinks. And about the timing, it is better to have the regularity of taking the food, and better to take it couple of hours before going to bed. Amount we have discussed, that keep yourself little hungry or eat little less than your hunger is saying you to eat, and once in a while you can fast or keep your stomach empty. Everybody takes rest. We have a holiday on a job also, but our stomach doesn't have any holiday. So if we can give a little holiday to our stomach once in a while, and all these things I think should work. But again, reinforcing that we have been paying very good attention on to our food for body, but we have not been paying attention to our food for mind and food for soul. And I think if you add attention to food for mind and food for soul, it would be a really holistic, wholesome, and balanced diet or inputs or intakes which is going throughout for your body, mind, and soul. And that will help our holistic or balanced living, that is body, mind, and soul wise healthy living.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shailesh. This brings us to the end of our talk. Thank you for shedding light on not only the food for body, but also including the food for mind and food for soul. Because I think we in a Western world are so narrowly focused on only one aspect, but it's very refreshing to see that holistic science addresses all three aspects, not only food for mind, but also for food for body, but also for mind and for soul. And thank you for also letting us know what holistic science is about what to eat, how to eat, and when to eat. So if anybody is interested in getting more information about holistic science, they can visit our website. Our website is hscrf.org. It is, again, hscrf.org, and we have a couple of books from Dr. Shailesh available for download if you're interested in learning about holistic science. The next seminar will be on May 24th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, US time, and we hope to see you then. Thanks again for joining, and thank you, Shailesh for taking time to shed light on the holistic science concepts. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.